Welcome to the second battle between Nothing, playing as Egypt, and Johnny, playing as Pergamon. And today, Johnny do have 4 units of Terusi spears, 2 Galatian shock spears, 4 Terusi swordsmen with javelins, 5 pikemen, a Scorpio, and the 4 units of heavy lancers. These lancers have a very big charge and a good attack. But you just have to promote the right circumstance so that if enemy has lighter cavalry, they have to take the charge of these lancers. The mobility is going to be the problem here. You have to have the right circumstance to force the enemy to stand and fight. And Egypt here has 4 units of Tarentine cavalry. These are very fast cavalry. They do have some precursors. They do have fast cavalry. They have a little bit of armor. They're decent-ish, but yeah, decent attack, but they lack the charge though. We have some Judean Terusi infantry here. 3 units of Judeans. We have 3 units of Ptolemaic swordsmen, 1 unit of Cleric spokesmen, which is a little bit because Pergamon do not have elephants. These men's main specialty is their anti-elephants. They do have some anti-armor and big charge, but the main what makes them worth it is the anti-elephant. But Ptolemaic swordsmen are, however, very much superior to the Pergamese swords. And yeah, Egypt do have a cavalry advantage. His pikemen are... well, Pergamon's pikemen are not the best, so it's relatively even between those units. But since both of them are relatively low quality in pikes, you don't want to find out. So they do have a Scorpio as well. So cavalry advantage lies in quality, it is with Johnny. Quantity wise though, it is with the Egyptians. There's lots of spears here. Egypt do have elephants, so that's a big something that the Pergamese do not have. It also means that because Johnny is lacking ammunition, he only really have these spears and these Terusi swordsmen's javelins to deal with it. But if he can stay here and just hurl at whatever units comes his way, then well, he needs to deal with elephants. So he will be forced to conserve ammunition to deal with elephants. But he has many spears, so maybe he can frighten the enemy to not use their elephants and just deal with everything else and make the elephants rout. Let's see, they have a fire at will order. They are shooting at the Ptolemaic pikemen here. If you want to provoke an attack, why not attack the Judean spearmen? Something to help you when the enemy tries to counter your cavalry. That could make a breach, and or the light swordsmen of Egypt. Pergamon is spreading out its pikes. All the Terusi swordsmen are going here because the elephants are over here. Galatian spears though. Ha, and the Scorpio of Egypt is targeting these Terusi swordsmen. That's because these men have javelins, and that's the only thing that can counter the elephants. So many men have died. Another option to target would be was to target the Terusi spears, or alternatively shoot the Galatians. The Galatians are very aggressive infantry, so killing them would save the support infantry. Judean spears though are more heavily armored than these Terusi spears. Pergamon have better spear options, but they're also more pricey and slower, so that's why the Galatian spears are more appealing. These men do not, they lack square though and discipline formation, something that other units of Pergamon have. These heavy lancers are going to be a threat to the Egyptians. All of cavalry of Pergamon is going this way. Egypt is sending one unit of Tarentines over here. That's going to be scary. This Oxybelus is very far away from the main infantry line now. And these Scorpio is just keep firing at the Tirusi infantry. More swords are going in here. These pikes, these Judeans are perfectly free to go over here. Just keep the Tarentines behind for now, and then go behind over here perhaps. Because this cavalry is very slow, it can't match the Tarentine speed. The Tarentines can just avoid these heavy lancers if they do not want to fight it. Going backwards and taking a volley in the rear. That's not something you want to take. Ouch, that caused a lot of casualties here. But now they've taken the volley though, so now they're free. This unit should have hurled at this unit. If, well, yeah, this one, if they wanted to deal with the Pergamese, the pikemen. Anyway, they're hurling at the Galatians, that's good. Make them cause some damage. Pergamese pikemen are going in here though. These men retreat, but it could be too late. 18. No, they lose some swords without actually fighting. Here the Galatians get a clean charge though. Last second these Clorox Horsemen go in. The fight is on its way. This pikeman retreats and another unit is taking its place. The more Tirusi spears are going in here. Tirusi swordsmen are close here to guard. Swordsmen are here. Are these Oxybelus out of ammunition or are they not firing? They should be over here, because then they would can cover this flank. But the Folksmen of Egypt are suffering to the Galatians. Galatian spears are very aggressive. More Galatians are on its way. Johnny is trying to use his pikemen to just force the enemy to retreat. But these Galatians must pull back because they are quality spears and they do not want to fight the phalanx head on, and they are doing it right now, so they are taking more damage than they should take. But Johnny is retreating the Galatians, that's good. He's conserving his elite soldiers. He has somewhat made of more, like here are units that Egypt is not using. Johnny is like concentrating all of his forces in a very small area, whilst Egypt is very wide. He can go over here, tempt them out. It's very tempting, but still, if Johnny can smash this flank. But right now Johnny is retreating. The Scorpio is opening fire, and it's shooting these swords. It must be very frustrating for Johnny, but but at the same time, he's saving his cavalry if these Tirusi swords take the damage. They have a lot of numbers here, so could be worth it in the end. Egypt is, however, coming in here for a flank attack. There's not many support infantry here, but one unit of Tarentine cavalry has been taking damage from the Scorpio, but there's still a lot of numbers here for the Egypt. What he could do is to line up the Galatians and another unit to simply line up these swords behind each other, take 2 cavalry units and then try to smash this, or take 1 unit there and threaten flank, because then he will have to take that into consideration. We'll push this one, then you can shoot them up with the Scorpio. However, the Galatians here gets many charges off. These Galatians are going to try to eat the they're going to try to eat these Folksmen, pin them up. But it has to be quick though. The heavy lancers are coming in here from flank attack. He can pop Skier here, make a breach. Attacking with all cavalry units here was a little bit overcommit. The Scorpio is firing, and it's firing at the general of Pergamon now. These Galatians must fight. Okay, the elephants are on its way. And the Scorpio is shooting at the Egyptian general. That's good. That is the best cavalry unit of Egypt. That was a very good javelin volley, but he needs these javelins to hit the elephants. It may not be the most powerful elephants in the world, but they're still needed. Here though, the Egyptian pikemen has gotten butchered by the Pergamese pikemen. Here though, there's a Turusi spear here fighting a pike unit head on, which they need to disengage from. These pike units now get flanked by these Judean Turusi spears, and they're already shaken because of it. It doesn't take much to rout pikemen once you get into a flank. The Tarentines here are free to do whatever they want. There's no real many units over here to counter it. This Scorpio must shoot this unit. It's the only real unit they have available to it. The Ptolemaic swordsmen though are routing. Lots of Turusi swordsmen are coming in here for an attack, but they are very vulnerable to get shot in the flank, or charged in the flank rather, by the cavalry. Too many units of swordsmen are bunched up here. That's just a very tempting target for these elephants to just come in here and damage up all these swords at the same time. The Tarentine cavalry are charging in here. The Scorpio is still targeting the Egyptian elephants. I mean the general of Egypt. The Tarentine cavalry here got killed off. These Turusi spears and another Turusi spear must turn back. These heavy lancers must turn in back or over here to deal with this flank, free up units. These pikemen are fighting against the Egyptian pikemen. This Turusi spear, but having all these swords here was a major mistake, because they're all very vulnerable to cavalry, and they can't resist cavalry charges. Now once they have javelins are thrown, they are very vulnerable. And that can just cause a major disadvantage to the Pergamese. There's a big gap here that he could potentially get to the Scorpio. This was not a proper charge here for Johnny. However, all these swordsmen are not going to get routed, and the Judean Turusi spears have now made a breach. The heavy lancers of Egypt, Pergamon, is now taking damage. The African elephants are here, and there are spears nearby. This unit must pull back if it can. If it gets tied down by the Tarentines, then it's dead, because they can't run away from a charge. They must win the charge and have the ideal situation to them. These heavy lancers, though powerful, can't run away from a cavalry fight. Not from Tarentines. Yeah, his right targets, he's attacking these light swordsmen in the rear. That's precisely what you want to do. causes a waver. Oxybellus seems to have a target on the Egyptian elephants. That general that is wavering. The Pergamese cavalry is over here. He is chasing a Tarentine cavalry. He needs to get his general back here. He's needed in the fight. These heavy lancers though are stuck with Tarentine cavalry and African elephants routing this unit. These Galatians must turn back. They are not designed to fight the phalanx. So turn these men back. Good. However, these Judean spears must turn to fight this cavalry, and that's exactly what he's doing. Heavy lancers charge this Egyptian pike unit and manage to rout it. That makes it a little bit better for these to use the spears, but though they're still suffering through these Ptolemaic swordsmen. Here it's relatively even, but this Scorpio is now unable to fire. But a lot of damage has been done here. He still has... these units are coming back to the fight. There's still some cavalry units here. If Johnny is careful with his cavalry, he can just use these Judean spears to try to protect his cavalry. But he wants to break up these pikemen of Egypt. But there's still cavalry units here. So like the danger with Pergamon is that once his cavalry has charged in, he must immediately pull out. Because they are now being charged by the Tarentines. They're not going to get a proper charge themselves. These men are also very tired. Whilst against a fresh unit of Tarentines, they did not get their charge here. But there's some, Pergamese pikemen over here. Egyptian phalanx guides are routing. Some Pergamese troops have been gathered up again, but the African elephants are just wreaking havoc. There's still some Tarentines here for Egypt. That's this 2 units of cavalry units, very depleted units. But a simple charge here can break this unit. But these Ptolemaic swords are winning. That causes a waver. This cavalry does take a javelin to the face. But not enough though. And 2 units here charged in and routed this unit as well. And there's a complete collapse over here from by Johnny's troops. Nothing's troops have been victorious on this side. Here it looks, well, the elephants are starting to die, but is it enough? The elephants are starting to die now, that's good. Can Pergamon remove the fear factor of the African elephants? Pop a scare here. Attacking everything head on like this is a mistake. Yeah, these spears are dead. Try to scatter up your force and then try to hit these units in the flank. If Egypt's infantry only consists of mainly pikemen, then it's still possible to avoid them. They still have superior mobility though. These Judean spears are routing. Yeah, that's good. There's still some units here. Though Egypt is turning around, that just makes it good for the Pergamese pikemen. Pergamese pikemen here must turn to face the elephants, the general of Egypt. This cavalry is being sent in here, and that is a death sentence because they are being charged now. Didn't get a proper charge themselves. This can have cost Johnny the battle. He had more cavalry than he had more units of cavalry than the Egyptians. He had more mobile infantry. It's mainly pikemen here for Pergamon. Is it? No. 2 units of pikes, okay. 3, 4 units of pikes. But you have pikemen yourself and more mobile infantry. The troops are exhausted against these pikes. The Galatians are also very tired. A single cavalry unit coming in here. But again, they may get charged by these Tarentines. He must keep the cavalry together. He could potentially, yeah, retreat with the phalangites. These pikemen are not. Oh, form a phalanx over here against these Judeans. That would be good. And these Galatians must fight these Ptolemaic swords. Yeah, these Judeans can't really be countered. Yeah, these phalangites must form a phalanx. This cavalry can just avoid this cavalry. These spears are now creating a gap that the Egyptian general can exploit. He can just go around here and just through the center and just knock out these units from the rear. Yeah, the cavalry, these men can't escape from the Tarentines. They charge in, but they get trapped right on the pikes. That's not a lovely way to go. Here the Pergamese general charges in against the Tarentine cavalry. He's facing pikes, he's facing spears, and the Egyptian general charges in on the flank. That causes a rout, and unfortunately for Johnny, he loses this one. So now it's even. Good game to both players. Nicely done by Nothing here to use his superior swords, and was also have lots of mobility here. That causes the loss of the battle here. There were lots of spears here for Pergamon, and quite a nice contingent. Was going to be hard to counter these elephants, but keeping a defensive posture first, then see what's happening, and then make a decision. Shoot everything else, but especially the Egyptian general was the correct choice by this Scorpio. Galatian spears are very formidable, and but again, the Ptolemaic short pikemen are just a little bit more costly, but they could be very, very, very. Let's see, Ptolemy. It is only 50 more denarii, and you could get a short pike unit. And that could have. Wait, it was Pergamon, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was going to be hard for Pergamon to deal with those. Yeah, Galatians were the best choice here for the just layer defense, wait, hope, and then maybe pop intimidate on the Egyptian pikemen so before they form a phalanx and charge the heavy lancers straight at the Egyptian pikemen whilst they cannot form a phalanx. Maybe. Or get good charges on the swords, Egyptian swordsmen, and then just pull out again and through your own Tirusi spears, like your Tirusi spears, take the precursors from the enemy infantry, but then when enemy charges in, you just pull back the Tirusi spears and attack with the lancers, and then turn back the Tirusi spears and then pull out the lancers. And that could, but yeah, you lacked anti-elephant means, and that also made it so that these Tirusi swordsmen could not be used to break up formations as they're supposed to do. They're not anti-elephant. That is supposed to be. Well, this unit has a very formidable anti-elephant here with 25. So, but also very pricey, and overall, like you want Galatian spears though for the aggression and multi-roll, but against purely the elephants, maybe it would have been better to just take some Tarentines and these Tirusi spears also. Maybe 2 Galatians to yeah, it's hard to counter the elephants here. But anyway, it was a good battle, and I'm looking forward to see the third and final battle between these men. Thank you for watching. Bye.